So in terms of your career, I would imagine some of this time off is a good thing. But if you had known that this bantamweight belt would have potentially sat idle for a year, you certainly wouldn't have turned down the offer of an immediate rematch from Cody Garbrandt. What does this all mean for you, and have you heard anything from the UFC over the last 4 weeks or so?
I haven't heard too much. I don't know. You got 1, 2, and 3. I'm ranked number 1, and obviously I would have taken the rematch right away. He was asking. He was like, hey, he was saying before the fight, I want to give Dom an immediate rematch.
Right.
And we were in line to do so, but the reason I said no is because I've already had the belt before, and I've been hurt, and I've held up the division before with my injuries. I knew my feet had to heal. I knew I needed a good maybe 6 months of time to just let my feet rest, because I beat the crap out of them with those 3 title fights coming back off those knee surgeries. So my plantar fascia tendonitis was just real bad, so I needed to give it time, and I knew, you know what? I figured a 25-year-old newly crowned champion was just going to get on the bike and start defending the title and try to build his legacy. Right. I didn't know that he was going to get some injections in his back and that he's hurt. I didn't know that. And this isn't me playing down his injury. Anytime you have a back injury, it's misery. And he's a tough dude, so no question he's probably seriously hurt. But, I mean, he didn't get cut by the knife. There's nothing that's been done there. So there's really what's really going on? And I look at it and I think, well, I'd love to fight for that belt. TJ's next. I would have taken that rematch right away, immediately, and I'd probably be in line right now instead of TJ if I would have just said yes, knowing that Cody was going to need a year off. I would have been like, yes, absolutely, I'll take a year off with you, Cody. You know, and I'll rest my body with you, champ. You know. So you know what? I'm doing that now. Why would I fight with more? I defended the title more than anybody in this division in the history of the division. I held it longer than anybody in the history of the division, and I'm a little bit older. I'm 32 now, so I'm choosing my fights wisely. My in the sense of I want to fight the best in the world. I want to fight up the division because I deserve to, because I've fought the best in the world since the beginning, and that's who I'm looking to fight. So fighting backwards down the division just doesn't make sense to me. I just hope that if Cody can't make it to this fight, maybe they'll let me and TJ fight for the interim title. The only reason to do an interim title isn't to take away juice from the champ, Cody. It's not to do that. It's to keep the division moving, keep the division at a high standard while he's just hurt. He'll still be the technical champion of the division. He just will have to fight the interim title holder when he comes back, and I think it makes the title fight of more importance. So I don't see an issue with the interim belt, personally, if he can't come back and defend the title within the entire calendar year. That would make sense to me, but I'm not the UFC. They have their plans. They're going to do what they want with Cody. We don't know how bad his injury is or isn't, and honestly, I just hope the best that he gets healthy.
That's all well put. Just under 5 months, it would have been a year, December 30th of this year. So we'll see how it goes. Maybe you train for the date they're fighting on. But it all sounds interesting, and the division, I think, has never been hotter in terms of the top 10. So all good things there from the greatest to do it at 35, buddy. Thanks for the extended time, and train well. We'll see you on the road, I'm sure, soon.
Thanks for having me, guys. Have a good day.
Back to the Daily Grind. The channel's getting false flagged by Triggered Trolls, so make sure you subscribe to the new channel. Let's get to the MMA news. Holy shit, ladies and gentlemen. We done made it 4 days. I know them fucking beta cucks over on that motherfucking shitty website for $20 a month are so pissed. He motherfucking thought he was resetting the fucking wave. Nah, it ain't working like that, pimping, and you better hope they shut me down before motherfucking these false flags get appealed. Because once these false flags get appealed, I'm on your motherfucking head. Let's get to the fucking news like I said a second ago. So Dominick Cruz is coming out and he's saying he wants to fight TJ Dillashaw for an interim title while Cody Garbrandt's back heals. Wow, this is actually going to be really interesting because, man, there's really a lot to unpack here. I'm not going to go too far into it because I'm not going to make any, I'm not going to go too far at with Dominick Cruz's motives here. But I'm just really curious on where this is coming from, because if you remember, after Cody Garbrandt beat Dominick Cruz, he said, hey, I want to give Dominick Cruz his rematch right now. He was like pretty much saying, I want to beat him again right now. If he wants a rematch, come get it. Dominick Cruz was like, no, I'm good. Go ahead and fight TJ. I'll fight you after you fight TJ. You got to defend the belt before you fight me again. So I'm just going to give you my honest perspective whenever I was watching that and taking that in, what I felt like. It felt like Cody Garbrandt knew he could beat Dominick Cruz again, so he wanted to do it before Dominick Cruz could figure him out or something. He felt like he just wanted to go ahead and beat Dominick Cruz twice and then move on to other stuff. But Dominick Cruz, to me, now I could be completely wrong. Could be he's had injuries that plagued his career. He said his last 3 title fights, he's been fighting on that injury, so it's just been aggravating it. So one thing I'll say is it might just be the time for Dominick Cruz to start broadcasting and commentating. He's really good at that stuff, breaking stuff down. I think, instead of coming back and trying to be a champion, I don't want to see Dominick Cruz go out like BJ Penn or Anderson Silva or any of these guys, that are fighting past their prime. And Dominick Cruz, he's younger than those guys, but he's just been so injured. It would suck to see him take like 3 losses in a row because he's been, so injured in his career, and he tried to come back and he just couldn't. It would really suck to see him tarnish his legacy on an injured leg. And literally for like the last 5-6 years, he's had injury problems. Both legs have been messed up, man. He came back, healed everything up. And then when he just lost most recently to his title. If you heard in the interview, he was talking about how he's been fighting on injuries. So it's like, even if he comes back, how much longer, it's like he's going to have to fight a couple times and then take a year off to let his legs heal. Fight a little. So it's just like, man, I don't want to see him ruin his legacy right now, Dominick Cruz. But let's get into after the Cody Garbrandt fight. It felt like Dominick Cruz didn't really want any smoke. He didn't want no smoke with Cody Garbrandt immediately. He was like, no, I don't want to fight Cody Garbrandt again right now. I'm going to take some time off, heal up, and then I'll let him fight TJ, and then I'll fight him. And this is interesting because if you remember, Dominick Cruz, he allowed Cody Garbrandt to skip TJ Dillashaw a little bit because Cody Garbrandt only got the title shot because he knocked out 2 dudes in spectacular fashion, and he skipped like the entire top 5. He knocked out Thomas Almeida, who was like ranked 6, and then he went on to fight a lower ranked guy, which is still baffles me a little bit. He knocked out the ranked 6 guy, then he went on to fight the ranked 13 guy, and he knocked him out, and then he got a title shot. So he skipped the entire top 5. Meanwhile, TJ Dillashaw has beat 2 number 1 contenders in that time, waiting for his title shot. But he's getting skipped over. Maybe I don't know exactly why. If it's because he wasn't a draw as a champion. If the UFC doesn't want to push TJ Dillashaw, I don't know what it is. But TJ Dillashaw really gets skipped over a lot. He's beat 2 number 1 contenders. He still hasn't got his title shot. He was supposed to fight Cody Garbrandt on the Ultimate Fighter. Then he got injured there, so he didn't get that fight. It's like literally every bantamweight champion it feels like is ducking TJ Dillashaw. That's just what it feels like. Dominick Cruz, it was a split decision. Or it wasn't a split. Well, yeah, it was a really, really close decision over TJ Dillashaw when he came back to beat TJ Dillashaw. Then TJ Dillashaw had to go on to fight 2 number 1 contenders. Rafael Sunsao, UF 200, beat him. And then also he went on to fight John Lineker, beat him. Who else is he fighting? Is he fighting anyone else? TJ Dillashaw's taking out fucking contenders waiting on his title shot. And it's not like he just got knocked out. You know what they always say? Dana White says, you got knocked out. Why do you deserve a rematch for the belt? That's what he tells Luke Rockhold. Well, TJ Dillashaw didn't get knocked out. It was actually just a really close decision. So if you're going to use getting knocked out as an excuse to not give Rockhold his immediate rematch, then what do you use for TJ Dillashaw? You didn't even get knocked out. What do you say? It's literally the opposite ends of the spectrum. One guy got knocked out, so he doesn't get his rematch. And one guy, it was a really, really close decision, the opposite of a knockout, and he still doesn't get his rematch. So I don't know how, as a champion, you earn an immediate rematch. Maybe it's only if you're a draw. But TJ Dillashaw, man, that's why he's one of my favorite fighters, because he's very entertaining fighter to me when he's not holding a guy down. Because he's got strikes too, but he's got really dominant wrestling. So if you have bad wrestling, if your wrestling's not up to par, TJ Dillashaw's gonna be able to take you down and do whatever he wants to you down there. But he's still an entertaining fighter to me. Those little guys, man, they're fast, they got movement, they're technical, and I appreciate that shit. So I appreciate TJ Dillashaw. He's one of my favorite bantamweights, if not my favorite bantamweight currently out of all bantamweights. Jimmie Rivera is a guy we got to talk about. That's why this video might go a little long, man, because there's so much shit going on in the bantamweight division. Check this out. There's 3 people that could legitimately fight for the title right now. Dominick Cruz, TJ Dillashaw, Jimmie Rivera. All 3 of them deserve a title shot. All 3 of them could be fighting for the title right now, and there would be no problem with it. But due to the champion freeze situation, because check this out. If Dominick Cruz would have just fought TJ Dillashaw, we would have had one of the contenders would have been out the way. If Cody Garbrandt would have just fought TJ Dillashaw, another contender would be out the way. But since Dominick Cruz didn't fight TJ Dillashaw, and now Cody Garbrandt didn't fight TJ Dillashaw, and now Dominick Cruz is wanting to fight TJ Dillashaw because he does. This is why I think he wants to fight TJ Dillashaw, because TJ Dillashaw and Cody Garbrandt are going to fight. They did the Ultimate Fighter season. They've got a lot of history, a lot of beef. They're going to fight for that title. Dominick Cruz, what does that leave him with? Because it's been a year. If they would have just fought soon and Cody Garbrandt didn't get injured, this would be about the time Dominick Cruz was fighting for the belt. But since Cody Garbrandt got injured, that sidelined everybody. Dominick Cruz, since he wanted to wait on the champion and let him fight someone else, he just got sidelined for another year instead. Because if he would have just took the immediate rematch, who knows what would have happened. He could have been fighting Cody Garbrandt already. But since not, Cody Garbrandt got injured, and now there's literally 3 contenders on ice, and now we've got another #1 contender in Jimmie Rivera, who's never lost in the UFC, been looking really impressive, taking out top 5 guys, retired Uriah Faber, came in, beat Thomas Hayes. Jimmie Rivera is 20-1, 21-1. He's only lost 1 time in his entire career, undefeated in the UFC, so he's another bantamweight contender. So when these champions, they skip the contenders, that just stacks up contenders, and then that makes the contenders say, whoa, well, I've earned a title shot, so I'm not going to fight anybody because I'll lose my title shot in the division stagnant. That's what's going on in lightweight. Tony Ferguson, Khabib. Tony Ferguson doesn't want to fight because he's earned a title shot, and he's waiting until he gets one. Same thing's going on with Dominick Cruz, Jimmie Rivera, TJ Dillashaw. None of these guys want to fight contenders repeatedly because they want their fucking title shot. That's what happens with stagnant divisions. The bantamweight division is really, it sucks, man. Oh, I could go on on it, man, and tell you why. There's just a lot going on. So I'll just repeat the moral of the story, and then I'll get out of here and get on to the next video because there's no shift today, so I don't get to work, unfortunately. But MMA Hour's out today, so there's a lot of news to get to. So let's just do a quick refresh. So Cody Garbrandt beat Dominick Cruz for the belt. He called out, he said, hey, now I want to beat you again. So, normally the guy who just won the belt doesn't call out you don't make the rematch. The guy that just lost his belt is the one that says, I want my rematch. But no, this was the opposite. Cody Garbrandt said, hey, I want to fight him again. And he's like, no, I don't want to fight you again. I want you to fight him, and then I'll fight you again. Talking about TJ Dillashaw. So then TJ Dillashaw versus Cody Garbrandt is supposed to happen. That doesn't happen because Cody Garbrandt gets injured. So now Cody Garbrandt was game to fight Dominick Cruz. He gets injured to fight TJ Dillashaw. Dominick Cruz was game to fight Cody Garbrandt, but not TJ Dillashaw. So it looks like everyone's ducking TJ Dillashaw. Dominick and Cody, it looks like, didn't want smoke with TJ, just from the outside looking in. Now, TJ's going to have to fight Cody, but Cody gets injured. So he's still on ice. Now, a new challenger appears. Jimmie Rivera coming in looking impressive. So people are clamoring for the Jimmie Rivera-Dominick Cruz fight. But Dominick Cruz, it's looking like he don't want no smoke with Jimmie Rivera because he's coming out and saying, no, I'll fight TJ for the interim title. How about that? How about we fight for an interim title? Cody Garbrandt, he's been injured for over a year, so me and TJ fight for the interim. I'm fine with that. Well, the problem with that is Cody Garbrandt's planning on coming back soon. He's going to be fighting TJ Dillashaw before the end of the year. So it's like Dominick Cruz is doing this now. He's like, all right, I'll fight TJ now so he don't have to fight Jimmie. You know what I'm saying? It's like he'll just have to fight a #1 contender. Dominick Cruz would. He don't want to have to play the TJ Dillashaw game where you got to beat one #1 contender. Then you got to beat another #1 contender. No. Dominick Cruz just wants his title shot whenever he can get it. He's like, no, I want my title shot whenever, I want an immediate title shot back. I don't want to have to beat any contenders for it. But the problem is with this injury, it's looking, people are about to start turning on Dominick Cruz because he hasn't fought in over a year waiting on Cody Garbrandt. Meanwhile, Cody Garbrandt's injured. Meanwhile, Cody still got to fight TJ. So it's like, Dominick, are you ever going to fight again? Or are you just literally waiting on these guys? Jimmie Rivera's right here. He's looking like a #1 contender too. What's to say Dominick Cruz gets the title shot over Jimmie Rivera after TJ? Unless they fight. But with this right here, it looks like Dominick Cruz doesn't want to fight Jimmie Rivera either. It's just what it looks like, because that's what everyone was talking about as soon as Jimmie Rivera won. Okay, Cody's fighting TJ. Let's get Jimmie versus Dominick. And he's like, how about an interim title shot, boss? It's like, I don't think Dominick Cruz is scared of anybody, and I don't think all these guys are better than Dominick. I just feel like with his injuries and where he's at in his career today, Dominick Cruz realizes that he's a smart guy. He understands that he can't just fight repeatedly all these contenders and be the champion. If he wants money fights, he needs to just get the belt back and fight a few more times with the belt. He's not trying to come back and fight all these contenders and wait and earn his shot on these bad legs. So Dominick Cruz is a smart person. It's looking like he don't want no smoke. Really, literally all of them. Cody Garbrandt, TJ Dillashaw, and Jimmie Rivera. At one point, Dominick Cruz, at this point, after his injuries, has not even just straight turned down, but kind of got out of the fight. TJ Dillashaw had to fight 2 #1 contenders. Dominick Cruz took on the lower-ranked Cody Garbrandt. Let him skip TJ. Okay, well, now you got beat by that lower-ranked guy. So now, do you want to fight TJ? No, he can fight for the belt. Okay, well, the champion's injured. So how about you fight this other guy, Jimmie Rivera, who's looking good? How about I fight TJ? You see what I'm saying? So it's very interesting. Dominick Cruz, it's an interesting situation. We're going to have to see how this shakes out. I'm pretty sure I've laid everything out. You know where my thoughts are on this. It's like, okay, I know I respect Dominick Cruz as one of the GOATs, but maybe it's just time to lay it down, or he's got a career outside of the octagon. He don't need to come back and prove himself as the champion. He's proved himself as the champion. He's going to mess around and come back, and people are going to start targeting his legs. And it's going to suck to see if him go out like BJ Penn, Anderson Silva. Any of these champions that were champions and everyone loved them, and now they're coming back and they're trying to reclaim that glory, and it just usually Father Time loses to no man. No man beats Father Time. So my honest opinion, what I want to happen, I'd like to see Dominick Cruz just go ahead and, if he can fight again, that's fine. But if not, man, just go ahead and lay it down and be a commentator, breakdowns and stuff, man. Just because he's had those injuries, and the bantamweight division is starting to get stagnant like these other divisions, partly because of Dominick Cruz. He didn't want the immediate title shot. He turned down TJ. He didn't turn him down. He didn't fight TJ Dillashaw when TJ Dillashaw was the #1 contender. Now he's calling for an interim title shot and not not responding to the people who want to see the Jimmie Rivera fight. So it is what it is, man. It's a little disappointing to think about, one of the heroes, Dominick Cruz, and what's going on right now. But, if you want to be a fanboy, you can, and say, no, he just wants it. You can always be a fanboy, but when you get realistic with it, man, you just got to play it back and hear what I said. And hopefully you agree, because it is what it is. Hit subscribe on the new channel. Time to get to the fucking news today. I'm off of my other job. I'm off of my Master of the Custodial Arts because there's no shifts, man, but the summer's almost over. I think I'm not even going to tell you exactly where I work. But, I'm just going to say the summer's almost over, and our shifts are really short in the summer. So when summer's over, I will have more actual work shifts. Until then, thanks everybody for the fucking donations and keeping me afloat. Motherfucking let's get it. It is what it is. Let the haters know what the fuck you tell me in the comments. And thanks for the fucking support. Free hitters, lurker hitters, everyone that's just viewing the channel. You motherfuckers are all helping, dude. And if you ain't subscribed to the new channel, you're slipper slacking on your pimping. I should probably motherfucking make a fucking video roasting your clown ass, trash ass. Call yourself a motherfucking supporter, and here you are not subscribing to the new motherfucking channel. You'll tell me in the motherfucking comments, oh yeah, I subscribed. Bitch, subscribe to the motherfucking new channel, because the bitch is going down like the Titanic. What the fuck you telling me, dude? I bought the world's worst thesaurus the other day. Not only is it terrible, it's terrible.